Hello, ATBs. Welcome back to my channel. We have a guest to help us with this. Today, we're going to be walking you through every update that has been made in the last couple of months to my channel. As you might have noticed, we have a new camera, we got some new things, we made some adjustments, and we just want to walk you through just so you get an idea of how things look and why you're noticing differences in the footage or differences in some of the product close-ups that we've been putting in.
Yeah, just this is like a behind the scenes.
Yes.
Like things that, you've maybe caught glimpses of how they look when we're shooting stuff, but this is kind of a peek behind the curtain as to how we're filming and some of our different workflow changes and changes to the studio space.
The real
studio space.
Studio. You'll get an idea of why we're laughing in a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a close-up kind of like Chris said, behind the scenes of what things really look like, because I think it's helpful if you're trying to set up your own channel or if you're trying to get ideas of what other people are doing to kind of create a space that's cohesive to makeup, but also getting really awesome shots of makeup products. So that's part of the fun, is being able to review it. Yeah, I just wanted to show you in case this might be helpful for you if you are starting your own channel or wanting ideas.
We'll go through a lot of things that we've built. Basically,
he's built.
We've built everything. We've done thrift store shopping and that kind of stuff to get a lot of the things. The one thing that we did not build or do budget conscious was the camera.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that.
That's a good point that Chris brings up. By the way, this is Chris, my husband. I did not introduce him. I hope you guys just know who he is. By the way, he is, what is your title? Tech guru, husband, product manager, lighting, video, it's a grip.
Yeah, grip.
You're a grip.
I mean, I could be a grip. I could be a director of photography.
Basically, I'm just here, and then he's behind the camera and, does the things. I just play with the makeup is basically what it is. If you are interested in this video, if you are enjoying it while you're watching, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe, because I do upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're going to be covering all of the updates, all of the new things that we've done in the last couple of months. But first, we want to touch on the camera. So the camera is one of the coolest things in this whole video. So I have now a Canon EOS R that is a year old, right?
Yeah, it came out about a year ago.
Yeah. Chris did a ton of research on what camera to buy, everything under the sun to make sure that we had good quality footage. There's a few things that I really, really love about it, and Chris could probably tell you a lot more because you know way more about it. But the biggest thing that I like with this camera is the autofocus. So it actually tracks your eyes, and I'm looking at my viewfinder right now. It has a little square over my head, and it has look, this eye is being tracked. So if I move it around, you get the idea. Basically, if we're moving around, if I get close up to the camera, really, really, really fast, it tracks me, and if I move away, it just automatically adjusts the focus, which is a huge upgrade, because before, what is this? I had this.
Yeah, so with her old camera, it would not do focus live while it was recording video. So basically what you had to do was set the focus. So she has a remote, which basically she could use to trigger the focus setting, and then she would record. Well, the moment she leaned at all, she kind of started to come out of focus. So that was one of the big things. And I actually saw it first on the R5, which is the brand new Canon camera. That's $3,000 or $4,000 or something completely ridiculous. Not that this one isn't completely ridiculous.
It's not as ridiculous.
But I saw that, and so I liked that idea of, well, then she can move, and that was the big thing, is that autofocus that runs while the camera's shooting, and you actually can't hear it. The focus, actually on this one, it makes it like a noise while it's focusing, so that's why it won't do it while it's recording video, because your audio would sound.
Yeah, so it just automatically adjusts, and you may have seen it in my Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette review. That was really the first look at using the camera, testing out the autofocus. I was really able to hold the product up and it would automatically focus, which was just awesome. Another thing I really like about this camera is programmable presets. Yeah. So basically, when you have a camera and you're trying to get everything just right, when I'm saying tweaks and that using that language, it's like the white balance, the ISO. There's lots of things that happen on a camera, and I'm still learning. Chris is like the master at this right now, and it's fine. Basically, there's all these different settings you can adjust in the camera to either let light in or let light out, how fast it's the frame rate. So like how blurry.
Yeah, the frame rate, the shutter speed,
Yeah, all of those things. So in these presets, it actually saves every single one of those settings every time you go back to that preset. So you can have multiple presets and they're all programmed with different settings. So that was a huge thing when we started including the product close-ups, is we would be using this camera, this is my old camera, with me filming, and then the products that we would do up close with. And we would be having to change the settings, and then I'd have to remember how to change them back and what they were every time we switched. So this just allows for more seamless footage. Like, I'm going to be consistently looking like this, and then the products are going to be consistently looking like they are when we do close-ups.
It's not just how the video is shot. It's basically every setting in the camera gets recalled with that preset. So the big one is for her kind of viewfinder monitor she has over here. There's settings that where things are on that and all that stuff that we have. Whenever she goes into this preset mode, it all remembers that. So
it just makes things a lot easier to remember what settings looked good, what you want to continue to use, even if you're going to use it for video. But then also, like, if you were to take your camera and go take photos or something and use it for another purpose, you could save that. And so that is another thing that's really awesome about this camera. And then obviously the quality. The quality is nice. I actually had a little bit of a freak out the first time that I filmed. I talked about this in my Urban Decay video where I had to reshoot the video because I was very uncomfortable with you guys being able to see every pore on my face. It was just made me feel very ugh.
It actually will shoot at 4K. So the footage we'll be uploading from now on will be 4K.
A lot of that is in the body of the camera. There's difference between the body and the lens because the lens is different, apparently. So you can remove the lens. You can do all sorts of stuff with changing the lens out from the body of the camera.
Lens versus body.
So this lens is also amazing. Has really great zoom ability, great quality. So this has a much bigger zoom than my other camera. Can you figure out how to put that back?
Yeah.
Okay. This camera can zoom just like an insane amount into my face. So you're welcome for being able to see everything. Okay, wider aperture.
So it's not specifically that it has a wider aperture, it's that it has a wider aperture across all of the zooms.
Is it that where like it just doesn't, the settings are not getting changed automatically when I zoom in?
Correct.
Right?
So on this one, on this old lens, as you zoomed in, the amount of light that was able to get into the camera got less. And so then it would get darker, and then the camera would change its settings internally to compensate for that darkness.
Rude.
We lock the settings in, and even if she zooms in,
it looks the same.
It looks the same.
Yeah. And by the way, my old camera, so we're still using this for B-roll, which is, we'll talk about that next. But this is the Canon
T5. Rebel T5.
Rebel T5. Who remembers this? You guys, look. It has so much makeup on it. It's insane. It's bad. Look at that. What? Look at... No.
So I like...
This is a Canon... What?
Rebel T5.
Rebel T5. This was just what I was told to buy. This is what everyone was using 6 years ago when I started my channel. Now, look where we are.
And it was not an expensive camera back then. It was, I think, probably $500 or $600.
That's high. I think it was like $400.
One other little thing. This one, the card slot is on the bottom.
My old camera.
Oh, the old camera with the battery. It was on the tripod. You couldn't get the card out. This one has it on the side. It can be on the tripod, and you can pop it open and get the card out, which is super helpful.
It's just nice to not have to like constantly take the camera on and off because I can't get the battery out or the card. So now sound treatment. We did make upgrades to the sound treatment. There's actually like panels behind the camera with nice fabric to look nicer. Full transparency here, I am in a basement my basement.
An unfinished basement.
Not any basement. It's our basement,
right.
But it's not finished. The sound is rough, and I don't know about you guys, but when YouTubers don't have great sound treatment and they're in like a wood flooring kind of room with not a lot of stuff in it, it just sounds rough, and that's something that I look for when I'm watching videos. Is I want it to feel like not cringy when I'm listening to it. Like, I don't want it to be super echoey. That's personal preference, you know, per every YouTuber. Some people film in their offices, and so they can't really put up all of that without taking away from what else they use the room for. So I totally get that. But for me, and, you know, for what I enjoy watching and listening to, we needed some sound treatment. So that's why there's like 6 panels. There's actually some above me too to help with that, because the ceiling is open and not there's wires like right there. We did get sound treatment that wasn't super, I mean, that was like DIY
we made them,
basically. Yeah. So you ordered the panels and then built little wood like frames for the panels, and then we just got fabric and we stapled it all around the wood framing. Thanks, love. And they're hung from the ceiling, by the way. B-roll set. Okay, there's A roll, which is this. And then there's B-roll, which is the product close-ups that you guys see that just really give a good idea of how a product looks. And most of the time it's like on a slide. So we have a slider. Most of the time you will be seeing the footage moving. We made not just a filming area for me, but a separate space just for filming products and clothing hauls and things like that. That I need a wall that looks nice and cute and is not our basement wall. Chris actually built a wood wall that stands up. We put wallpaper on it and then hung some shelves that Chris also built, because he's just the building master.
It's 8x8.
8x8 wall that looks exactly like a regular wall in a house, you know, like it has baseboard, and then we got a rug to go underneath of it so that it'll look like carpet.
You know, once again, that was not an expensive thing to do. It was basically some 2x4s that I screwed together in like a wall format, and then we opted not to do drywall. I did just particle board on the front, and then we put the wallpaper on. So I think the wallpaper was the most expensive part of that.
That was like, what, 80?
It was like 80 bucks. And then all the other pieces of wood added up to be like $50.
Now, you don't have to do wallpaper. Like, if you wanted to recreate this, you could just paint it with paint you already have. Probably somewhere in your garage, if you have a garage.
Because that's where our paint is.
Yeah. Is you do not have to go for like the full wallpaper. I just really liked the look of it, and we don't have any of it in our house, so I thought that would just be kind of a cool, different look to have that. We got a desk to go in front of it that also has all of the stuff that we film the products with. So we have the slider, the camera slider that my old camera fits on, and that's specific. This is specifically like the B-roll or the product camera now. We have a wood block, like that's literally like we were in a wood store doing a project for a different project, and just saw that, and it was like super cheap.
It was like $10. They had a box of scraps, and it was like every scrap was $10, and it was like, well, this is a nice looking piece of wood, and it's really thick.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, we'll find a use for that, and it's gotten use here, and it may get repurposed for something else in the future. But
the wood piece gives a really nice look to products, basically. So, and we'll show you like kind of like behind the scenes footage through all of this of just what it looks like behind the camera, but then also what it looks like with the camera footage that you don't get to see all that extra stuff. But I just think that the walnut, we love walnut here in this house. It's expensive and it's really nice. My mom and I went to Home Goods like a few months ago and found this nice wood Lazy Susan. I was like, cool, we'll use it for the dining room table. And then we just started using it for B-roll and for products. So any of the moving shots that you guys see, that is on the Lazy Susan. It just is a wood round piece of wood.
And it's like my hand, like one finger on the side of it, moving it as smoothly as I can so that it looks good on camera.
I mean, you can just really do a lot with stuff you already have in your house.
Part of the experience of buying makeup is like enjoying the packaging. So like as you're unboxing stuff, you're like, oh, this is really cool. And so we want to convey that, specifically with Urban Decay one. It's got that raised jewel pattern on the top. And so how can we convey that to you as the viewer and show, like, we want you to, when watching the video, be able to experience unboxing it with us.
It really gives something extra, I think, to the video when you're able to get such a good picture of what it's gonna look like if you went to buy this in person. Not just like, oh, let's hold it up to the camera. You know, I mean, that's helpful, but also it's just, I feel like it gives a more well-rounded experience of what it really looks like.
As close as we can get you to walking into the store and picking it up and touching it and feeling it and turning it around in your hand. That's what we want to do.
Yeah. It's just not done in the makeup world. It's just not a thing that you see. And so, like, Chris watches a ton of camera related videos that's like all they do. And so you can get super creative and just make really cool looking content with movement and with like just super up close shots of things that you wouldn't even think look nice, and then they look nice because they're so up close and you're doing cool stuff to it. So we can thank him for giving us this idea, because I don't see it when I'm watching makeup videos here on YouTube. So that's something that we wanted to be able to add into my videos. Soft boxes, we do have 2. That's an upgrade that we also made, was getting some soft boxes for specifically the B-roll set, but then we're actually using one right now to help with the new lighting here. It's a type of light mount basically that has, what is it? It's like a reflective coating on the inside, and it's a big square.
It's on a tripod with a boom arm, so it's really easy.
So it looks like this.
It just makes for a nice soft light, even lighting, especially on faces.
Just not so harsh. Like right now, the lighting that I have used is like 3 IKEA lights, okay, mounted to my desk.
Tertials.
Yeah.
The best type of IKEA light. And then, they look like Pixar lamps.
Yeah. And then 2 literally like the
tubes.
Garage lights that you see.
That would hang from the ceiling that we've mounted.
So then those help light up the background so that the background doesn't look so dark. I'd say probably the last biggest thing I wanted to mention is, with all of these upgrades and all of this stuff, I've had my theme on my channel for 2 years now. It's been since 2018 that we had that. And so I'm upgrading that and just giving the channel a different theme, a little bit more woodsy, Colorado type of feel. So I really, really like what we came up with the new banner and the new outro, and I hope you guys like it too, because I spent a lot of time redoing it. Just know that the channel is going to be kind of getting an update to the theme that is my channel. Instagram. Yeah.
Do it for the gram.
I know. You guys should go and follow my Instagram, by the way. I am back to posting consistently on Instagram. You want to see more content, more behind the film stuff. Like sometimes I'll post what B-roll we're shooting for a certain product, unpackaging products, using them, lifestyle things, just extra stuff that you don't get to see just on here. Then you should definitely go follow it. With all this being said, like, we're just trying to give you some good ideas of things that you can do if you wanted to start something up. Granted, it helps me a lot to have Chris be able to build these things for me, but if you have, either if you're handy or if you have someone that's handy in your life that can help you out with this stuff, like, you can do it. And just because I'm filming in a basement doesn't mean it doesn't look good, you know? Like, you can film basically anywhere and make any space look nice. You just have to put in a little bit of time and effort. And granted, I've had my channel now for 5 years. It was not overnight. Like, it definitely has taken time and effort and a little bit of money, like, along the way, saving up for certain upgrades. If you're thinking about it, or if you just want, you know, some ideas for your own channel, or even just like if you're into photography or something, I hope that this video was helpful.
The makeup community is different from the rest of like the film community, because like everyone else is shooting in a studio where only one wall looks perfect and the rest is very utilitarian. There's tracks for cameras and trusses above the stage and everything where lights are hung, and so that's how the rest of the world shoots. And so like the big makeup people that are like have a special room in their house that's just their makeup room. That's not realistic with how other stuff is filmed.
Yeah, usually. I mean, like we have a 2-bedroom house, and I wanted, I didn't want to sacrifice our guest bed or like, a room that we can use for other things just for filming. Now, maybe if we upgrade in the future, that can look different, but you can do it even just with a little bit of space. Like I'm literally in like, what would you say this space is? Like
10 feet wide by...
Yeah, it's not a big space, so you can definitely still set up something like this. I think in the future we are going to upgrade my background. So when you see the B-roll like wall, I want to do a similar thing behind me so it looks just a little bit more like a wall behind me, So that's, I guess, going to be coming sometime in the future, but the camera was the most recent expensive thing that we just bought, and so you have to plan out what upgrades you want. Sometimes it's not realistic to do everything all at once because that's a lot of money, and it's okay to space it out and get little upgrades here and there to what you want things to look like. You're welcome for the longest video ever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Let's thank Chris for all of his brain things that he comes up with to help us out. That's gonna wrap up the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye.